Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Mercedes. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if you're returning, as always, welcome back to my channel. First, before we get into the video, happy new year. It is officially 2024. That means new goals, new routines, a new start at whatever you want to accomplish in the new year. I hope all of your desires and wants come true, but please remember, we have to put action behind our wants, our desires. They are not going to come to us. If I learned anything in 2023, is I gotta put in some work. The soft girl era is not for me, okay? So with that said, let's go ahead and get into today's new year reset. Alright guys, so with the new year reset, that means we have the opportunity to execute this new year. How are we going to execute it? Remember everything that you did in 2023 that you did not like. Remember it, take a mental note, and throw it out. Another thing, don't allow your past decisions, the things that you've done in your past, to hinder you or hold you back from any new goals or new things that you want to accomplish in the new year, okay? We have to get over the fact that we may have messed up, we may have made mistakes, we may have not executed all of our goals. Know that this is a time where we can sit down and reset and learn some of the things that we can work on, and also acknowledge the things that did not work out for us. We don't want to keep doing the things that weren't working. That is a big one. Where you know what didn't work for you in 2023, don't bring that into 2024. Change those habits. A lot of times we get in our own way and we say, oh, you know, I wasn't able to accomplish my goals, nothing went right, but I was doing this and I was doing that. Well, maybe what you were doing was not working, and that's okay, because now we have time to reflect on that and implement things that are actually going to work. And that's what I want to talk about in this 2024 new year reset. How we can make this year a successful year and not a repeat of 2023. Even if your 2023 was a good year, how can we make 2024 an even better year? So I want to focus in on getting organized. I know you've probably watched a ton of videos by now talking about, oh, you got to declutter, you got to organize, but I promise you, when you do these things, it declutters your mind, not just your space, but your mind. You have time to just process thoughts, and you're not sitting in a mess. You're not sitting in clutter. You have a free space to have a free mind to think and process all of your thoughts. So it is important to get rid of the old so that you can bring in the new. It is so important. So declutter those spaces, clean your home. You don't want to go into a new year with a messy home. I'm not the cleanest person. Am I messy? I say this. If I see 2 bottles on my dresser, I'll be like, oh, okay. But if a third one come, you gotta go. You know, I'm not the cleanest person, but I'm not super messy, but I know how it feels to not be able to function in a messy place, or what I deem messy. It could be stuff on my ground. It could be clothes that I haven't put up. That I consider messy, and it just doesn't allow me to function well. But when all of those things are clear and clean, I just feel like I can conquer the world. I don't know what it is, but that's just how I feel. So clean your space, get organized, put things in places that are easily accessible. I found in 2023, y'all, I kid you not, I was like, you know what? I want to journal every day in 2023. Baby, there were days where I wouldn't journal just because I didn't have a pen near my dresser. There were days I didn't want to journal because I left my journal in the other room and I didn't want to get up to go get it. So this year I said, okay, you know what? Every night I'm going to put my journal on my dresser. Every day I'm going to make sure that there is a pen on my dresser, because I don't want to have any excuses. And I know it sounds so crazy, like, girl, you can just walk in the other room and get that pen or get that journal. I didn't do it. I'm just being honest. So because I know I didn't do it in 2023, I'm not going to bring those same habits into 2024. Of course, I may find a new excuse, but as long as I'm doing the things necessary to get me to that goal, I think that is a step. It means that I really want to do this, and I know that certain things that I was doing last year weren't working, so let me try a new way. And if I do come up with a new excuse, then that's on me. Getting organized for me looks like having planners, having calendars, having journals, all of that to declutter my mind and put out what I need to get done throughout each day. I want to be able to see it on paper, or whether you use a digital planner, whatever. Write down what you have going on in your life so that your mind is not full of clutter every single day. You can declutter your mind and put it on paper so you won't have so much to worry about, and when the new day comes, you can think about all of the new opportunities, the new goals that you need to accomplish. Or you can just take time to take in what you've already accomplished. But if we're keeping all of that clutter in our mind, we're not decluttering, it just can get hectic and your mind can be overworked and overwhelmed. So for me, I use pen and paper. I have physical copies of planners, and I just like to write everything. I am a person who wants to keep up with everything in my life via pen and paper. Why? I just feel like one day I can pass these things along, or one day I won't be here and my grandkids can have these things in memory of me. Oh, looking through a planner, what was she doing on this day in 2024? Oh, she was preparing for the new year. I want them to be able to have memories like that. I want them to have documents and journals one day that they can read back on when I'm no longer here. That's just something that I personally want to have. So now that you have organized your life, you cleaned in places that you haven't cleaned in a while, you changed out your filters, you cleaned that vent to your dryer. If you're a homeowner, you've done your 6 months to a year maintenance. Everything is clutter free and you have your home in order. Now it's time to sit down and set your goals. What do you want to accomplish in 2024? If you want to take your 2023 goals that weren't accomplished and bring them into 2024, that's totally fine. Sometimes we have this idea that at the end of the year, if these goals weren't accomplished, then I have to leave them behind. No, you don't. Just because it's a new year, it doesn't mean that the things that you wanted in the previous year are no longer obtainable. You can still bring in those goals. So when I plan out my goals, I normally just have these big goals for the year. I slap them on a vision board and I say, this is what I want to accomplish. I don't break down how I'm going to accomplish these things. Sometimes I just say, hey, this is what I want to do, and I just have to work towards them. This year, I decided to really sit down and decide how I was going to accomplish these big goals of mine. And the first thing I did was I did sit down and pray, talk to God, and created a prayer board with all of my aspirations and desires for 2024. I think that sometimes we think these goals are just for us to accomplish and we're on this journey alone, and we forget that God is at the center of our lives. If we come to Him, He will make all of our desires and wants happen. But if you leave Him out and you don't come to Him, how are you going to expect these things in your life to align? And even if they do align, sometimes they can be chaotic. Sometimes the way you get them and the way you reach those goals aren't as easy. It's like they're filled with road bumps and roadblocks after roadblocks, and that's because we're not putting God at the forefront of those goals. So that was the first step I did this year, was to sit down and talk to God and figure out what I wanted for my 2024 year. I decided to do quarterly goals. These aren't goals that I just made up. I took those same yearly goals that I put on my prayer board and I broke them up by each quarter of the year. So there's 4 quarters in one year. How am I going to work towards accomplishing this overall goal each quarter? And by doing that, you're basically taking that big goal and turning it into smaller achievable goals, quarter by quarter by quarter, weeks by weeks by weeks, months by months by months, or days. And when you do that, that goal, that big goal, becomes more obtainable in your mind. Like, oh, if I do this in quarter one, let's say my overall goal for 2024 is to save $2,000. Okay, so in quarter one, I need to either be working on saving that money, or I can brainstorm ways to bring in an extra $2,000 in order to save the $2,000. Or I know how I'm going to save the $2,000, so I'm going to divide it by 4 quarters. So 4 divided by $2,000. So I know that each quarter I need to have $500. First quarter, I need to save $500. Second quarter, I need to save $500. Third quarter, I need to save $500. Fourth quarter, I need to save $500. And by doing that, $500, it seems more obtainable than that $2,000, because at $2,000, it just seems like a big number, and it's like, well, how am I going to get that? Or what am I going to do to get $2,000? When you break it down, it's like, $500, okay, that seems more obtainable. And you can even break that $500 down even further. Like, okay, $500, how much do I need each week to get to that $500 in the first quarter? Oh, I only need, I don't know, let's say $150 a month in order to have the $500 by the end of the quarter. I didn't do the math. I'm just making up numbers. Okay, that might not be right. But when you break those big goals into smaller goals, the smaller goals seem more obtainable. It's kind of like if you've ever been on a debt payoff journey and you followed the Dave Ramsey snowball. Those small wins, anytime you would pay off a credit card, you would go from the smallest credit card to the largest. Those small wins in between you getting to the largest matter. The same with your goals. In order to stay on track, to stay motivated, those small wins are going to matter. So I think it's important to break down those bigger goals that you have for the year into smaller goals so that they seem more obtainable. You're not as overwhelmed. The process of you getting to your bigger goal won't seem like it's taking forever. Like, I have to wait until the end of the year just to get to my goal. No, train your mind to think that this is the amount of time that I have to get to each goal. You can take it even further and go to a 12-week plan. I've been seeing those are really popular, where you treat your entire year like you only have 12 weeks to accomplish a goal. So if I say that I want to accomplish saving $1,000 within the year, then I would take that $1,000 and break it up by weeks for 12 weeks. How much money do I need to save for 12 weeks in order to get to my $1,000 goal? And boom, in 12 weeks, I have my $1,000 saved because I broke it down week by week of how much money I needed to save within those weeks. It just makes it more obtainable, and it does make you work a little harder. I think with the 12-week plan, like you still have your big goals, but you're taking those big goals and giving yourself a certain amount of time to accomplish those big goals. And you're only doing a few at a time. You're not overwhelming yourself with 5 to 10 goals and expecting it to be accomplished within those 12 weeks. No, you're taking 1 to 3 goals within those 12 weeks. So there's so many different ways that you can accomplish your goals. You just have to figure out what's best for you and what's going to work for you. We can sit here on videos and tell you different ways and different plans, but only you know what's going to fuel you and push you to accomplish your goals. For me personally, I know those small wins are going to matter with all the goals that I have in 2024. So by breaking my big goals down into smaller goals, it just makes me feel like I'm obtaining obtaining and I'm doing something, and I'm just not just letting time pass me by again and having a repeat of 2023. So I personally will be breaking down my bigger goals into smaller attainable goals, and I just did a worksheet on Canva where I did my quarter one. I listed out all of my goals. I added some trackers. I broke it down by weeks and days of how much money I would need or what I would need to do for each of these goals in order to obtain them in the first quarter. And then for the second quarter, I'm going to do the same thing. So once I've accomplished my first quarter goals, then I'm going to move on to my second quarter goal. All of these small goals should get me to the finish line of accomplishing my bigger goals. So I'm not changing the goals, I'm just making them more obtainable by breaking them down into smaller goals. Lastly, you need to have a routine, a daily routine of how you want your day to go. What does that day look like for you? I want to wake up at 5 a.m. I want to have my morning routine out of the way by 7 a.m. 7 a.m. I want to read a book. I want to Bible study. I want to do something for me from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. If you have children, I want to make sure that they're squared away and they're off to school and they're, walking in their purpose. And then from whatever time you have left, then you can focus on things that are going to better you, are going to get you to your goals. And I know sometimes as parents, me myself being a single mom, I feel like I don't have enough time in the day. So I really have to create a routine to see what I'm doing within the time frame that I have, because I already know my time is limited. So I need to make the best out of the time that I have. I cannot stress that enough. You can think and keep it in your mind all you want. When your day is not going as planned in your mind, you're like, dang, time passed by again. Dang, I don't have enough time. It's time to sit down and get a routine to figure out how to maneuver throughout your day so that you can have time to accomplish your goals, your desires, and your wants. I'm telling you, write it down until you get a routine that works for you. 100%, for you to see how my day is going. In the first couple of weeks, write down what you did that day to see what you were able to accomplish. If you weren't able to accomplish anything that day, write down what you were doing that didn't allow you to get anything done. For the first few weeks, do that until you come up with a routine that is going to be productive. I hope that makes sense. I am going to leave you with this. Self-care is important. Self-care is not a luxury. Self-care is something that you should be implementing in everyday life. You shouldn't have to treat it like a treat. Self-care should be something that you automatically do for yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, how are you going to be able to accomplish all of the things that you want to do in this life? If your mental is not good, if your physical health is not good, then honey, the world around you is not going to be good. You have to show up as your best self, and in order to do that, you have to take care of yourself. I will be the first to admit I struggle with self-care. I will do everything. I will take care of everybody and everything and forget to take care of me. So don't get me wrong, it's an everyday battle, but it's so important for you to take time to take care of yourself, because unless your mental is up to par, you're not going to be able to focus on the things that you want. You're not going to be able to accomplish the goals you want to do in 2024 unless you take the time to take care of you. Stop treating self-care like it's a luxury. Stop getting on YouTube and seeing the girlies with their self-care days. Every day you should be implementing some type of self-care for you, if nobody else, for you, because a healthy mind and a healthy physical, your well-being is so important. It should be at the top of the list with those goals, with those kids, with that man, the husband. Your self-care should be at the top of the list. I promise you it will make a world of difference when you start prioritizing you. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys accomplish all of your goals and desires in the new year. I am rooting for you if nobody else is. I am 100% rooting for all of you. I want to see and hear about all of the goals that you accomplish in 2024. Remember, we got to do the work. We can't just sit around and put it out in the world and speak positive and hope for the best. No, we got to put actions behind our thoughts and what we say. Please remember that. Sometimes we can get blindsided by manifestation and prayer and think that we don't have to do any work. But yes, we do. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, I cannot wait to hear all of the good things that are going to come to you and for you in the new year. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.